Hey, there's a commonly held belief in audio that polarity and phase are the same thing. The problem is they aren't. Here's why. On most audio consoles, there's a button on each channel with the null symbol. It may be mistakenly labeled phase. Mythology runs rampant on the meaning and the use of that switch. That misunderstanding leads to a statement that I still hear today. Inverting the polarity is the same thing as a signal being 180 degrees out of phase. No, it isn't. The terms phase and polarity refer to two very different things and cannot be used interchangeably. Phase implies a shift in time relative to some reference, while polarity is simply a reversal of the positive and negative terminals of an audio connection, like swapping pins 2 and 3 on an XLR connector, or the plus and minus leads on a loudspeaker terminal. As you can see from these two graphs, nothing has changed with phase. The top graph shows our friendly sine wave test signal in proper polarity, and the bottom graph shows the sine wave signal out of polarity. So let's clarify. It's more properly termed a polarity switch because all that button does is invert the wiring between pins 2 and 3 at the XLR input on that particular channel. It does not affect the phase. When one looks at a graph of, for example, a sine wave at 100 Hz and compares that with a second sine wave also at 100 Hz, but delayed in time by 180 degrees, it looks like the polarity has been reversed. And that's probably where the misunderstanding begins. If we don't see that the signal has been delayed, then we could be misled to believe that the polarity and phase are the same. But what if we change the frequency of that second sine wave? The moment we adjust the frequency of the second sine wave, that 180 degrees out of phase condition collapses. Check out this first graph. It shows two sine waves overlaid, both at 100 Hz. The second graph also shows two sine waves overlaid, one at 100 Hz, the other at 125 Hz. You'll notice that even though they are still in sync at the starting point, they are no longer in phase. Here's the same experiment showing 100 Hz overlaid with 150 Hz and 100 Hz overlaid with 200 Hz. Just remember that the so-called phase switch on your console input channel does not shift the phase by 180 degrees. Let's start calling it a polarity switch rather than a phase switch. Follow for more.